I want to welcome you to the March 5th, 2019 meeting of the Whitehall City Council for the purpose of considering such matters that may come before it. I'm going to ask everyone to rise for a moment of silence and remain standing for the pledge. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Ault, please call the roll.
Elmore.
Present.
Coniston.
Here.
Cantor.
Present.
Heck.
Here.
Morrison. Bailey. Rodriguez.
Here.
President Green.
Present.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to excuse the absent members of council. Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Elmore and a second by Ms. Coniston to excuse the absent members. Ms. Aug, please call the roll.
Elmore.
Yes.
Coniston.
Yes.
Cantor.
Yes.
Heck.
Yes.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
The absent members have been excused. Our next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes for February 19, 2019, the agenda and regular meeting minutes.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the February 19th minutes.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms.
Coniston.
I got this all messed up. I have a motion by Ms. Coniston, a second by Mr. Cantor for approval of the February 19, 2019 minutes. Ms. Aug, please call the roll.
Elmore.
Yes.
Coniston.
Yes.
Cantor.
Yes.
Heck.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
The minutes have been approved. It's our first opportunity for poll public. If anyone would like to come forward, you will have up to 3 minutes.
We're really doing that?
All right. Well, since no one's coming forward, we'll move on with our standing committee reports, and we'll begin with Administration and Financial Management. That's Chairperson Bailey is unable to attend the meeting this evening due to work requirements. So I will tell you that his committee did meet last Tuesday. Their minutes are on file, and they shall also meet again next Tuesday sometime after 6:30. Next up, we have Community and Elder Advocacy, Chairperson Elmore.
Thank you, Mr. President. Community and Elder Advocacy met last Tuesday. Our minutes are on file. We have no pending legislation. We will meet again next Tuesday in the back around 6:30.
All right, thank you. Next, we have Community Standards and Enforcement, Chairperson Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. Community Standards and Enforcement met last Tuesday. Our minutes are on file. We'll meet again next Tuesday, sometime after 6:30.
All right, thank you, sir. Next, we have Economic Development. That's Chairperson Morrison. He is also unable to attend the meeting this evening. That committee did meet last Tuesday. Their minutes are on file in the council office, and they shall also meet again next Tuesday sometime after 6:30. That brings us to Infrastructure, Maintenance, and Services. Chairperson Heck.
Thank you, Mr. President. Infrastructure, Maintenance, and Services met last Tuesday. Our minutes are on file. We have no pending drafts or legislation, and we will meet next Tuesday sometime after 6:30.
Thank you. Next up, we have Public Safety. Chairperson Coniston.
Thank you, Mr. President. Public Safety met last week. Our minutes are on file, and we'll meet again in the back sometime after 6:30 on Tuesday.
All right, thank you. Next, we have Parks and Recreation, Chairperson Cantor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Parks and Recreation met last week. Our minutes are on file. We'll meet again in the back sometime after 6:30 next week.
All right, thank you, sir. That concludes our standing committee reports. We'll move on to our officials' reports. And I will begin by saying that we have many members of the administration who are ill. Apparently must be something going around. So we only have 2 members of the administration here with us this evening, so they have all the time that they want. First up, we have our city attorney, Mr. Michael Bivens.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of council, and to our city treasurer's credit, that's the benefit of being down in the basement. We're quarantined from all of the germs that are upstairs. But from the city attorney's office, in the month of February, Mayor's Court, we prosecuted 286 cases in Mayor's Court. Total cases between Mayor's Court and Municipal Court were 365. Out of the mayor's court cases, only 21 of those were Whitehall residents. So that's about a 7%, and then the variance goes up by 5% if you take the total number of municipal cases that are Whitehall residents in municipal court and mayor's court. So that's a total of 12%. Our office is working on doing a different algorithm as it relates to property crimes in retail establishments. We're going to have to adjust it a little bit because we've been tracking it by the defendant's address. Now we have to track it by location of incident. So hopefully by the next council meeting, I'll be able to address that issue, or it all really depends on us getting the list of all retail establishments and then cross-referencing it from the location of incident. But I do intend to get that information to council.
All right, thank you. Next up, we have our city treasurer, Mr. Steve Quinzel.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of council. I have no official report tonight.
All right, thank you, sir. There have been no officials' reports filed in the council office since our last meeting. That brings us to communications, petitions, and claims. We do have the agenda for the March 7, 2019 meeting of the Planning Commission. And that's all we have received. Under verification of copies, Ms. Aug, please call the roll on whether each member of council is given a copy of each item of legislation listed on the agenda prior to the meeting and including any add-on legislation.
Elmore,
Yes.
Coniston.
Yes.
Cantor.
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
All right, so we'll begin with our third reading items this evening, and we'll start with ordinance 11, 2019. It's unappropriating $11,073.94 from the Safe Parks Grant Expense Account.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce ordinance 11, 2019, move for its adoption.
Second?
I have a motion by Mr. Rodriguez and a second by Mr. Cantor for introduction and adoption of ordinance 11, 2019. Questions or comments? Ms. Aug, please call the roll.
Elmore,
Yes.
Coniston.
Yes.
Cantor.
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ordinance 11, 2019 has been adopted. Our next ordinance is 12, 2019. It's making and approving a fund transfer in the amount of $2,761.06 from the Safe Parks Grant Fund to the general fund.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce ordinance 12, 2019, move for its adoption.
Second?
A motion by Mr. Rodriguez and a second by Ms. Coniston for introduction and adoption of ordinance 12, 2019. Questions or comments? Ms. Aug, please call the roll.
Elmore,
Yes.
Coniston.
Yes.
Cantor.
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ordinance 12, 2019 has been adopted. Our next ordinance is 13, 2019. It's unappropriating $437,540 from the Parks Revitalization Grant Expense Account.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce ordinance 13, 2019, move for its adoption.
Second?
I have a motion by Mr. Rodriguez and a second by Mr. Cantor for introduction and adoption of ordinance 13, 2019. Questions or comments? Ms. Aug, please call the roll.
Elmore,
Yes.
Coniston.
Yes.
Cantor.
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ordinance 13, 2019 has been adopted. Next up, we have ordinance 17, 2019. It's authorizing and approving an appropriation transfer in the amount of $8,500 from the Senior Administrative Assistance Expense Account to the Grant Administrator Salary Expense Account.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce ordinance 17, 2019, move for its adoption.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Rodriguez and a second by Ms. Elmore for introduction and adoption of ordinance 17, 2019. Questions or comments? Ms. Aug, please call the roll.
Elmore,
Yes.
Coniston.
Yes.
Cantor.
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ordinance 17, 2019 has been adopted. It's the last item of legislation under third readings. Under second readings, we begin with ordinance 21, 2019. It's transferring $239,287.86 from the bond retirement account to the debt service fund and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce ordinance 21, 2019, move for the suspension of all rules.
Second?
A motion by Mr. Rodriguez and a second by Ms. Coniston for introduction and suspension of all rules on ordinance 21, 2019. Questions or comments? Ms. Aug, please call the roll.
Elmore,
Yes.
Coniston,
Yes.
Cantor,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
The rules have been suspended on ordinance 21, 2019.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to adopt.
Second?
Motion by Mr. Rodriguez, second by Ms. Coniston for adoption of ordinance 21, 2019. Ms. Aug, please call the roll.
Elmore,
Yes.
Coniston,
Yes.
Cantor,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ordinance 21, 2019 has been adopted. Next up, we have ordinance 23, 2019. It's approving and making a fund transfer in the amount of $442,882.50 from various accounts in the Wimpity Fund to the Debt Service Fund. That ordinance is being read by title only. Our next ordinance is 24, 2019. It's making and approving an appropriation of $94,230 from the Recreation Bond Fund to the Park Improvements Expense Account and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce ordinance 24, 2019, and move for the suspension of the rules.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Cantor and a second by Mr. Rodriguez for introduction and suspension of all rules on ordinance 24, 2019. Questions or comments? Ms. Aug, please call the roll.
Elmore,
Yes.
Coniston.
Yes.
Cantor,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
The rules have been suspended on ordinance 24, 2019.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move for adoption.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Cantor and a second by Mr. Rodriguez for adoption of ordinance 24, 2019. Ms. Aug, please call the roll.
Elmore,
Yes.
Coniston,
Yes.
Cantor,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ordinance 24, 2019 has been adopted. Next up, we have ordinance 26, 2019. It's accepting Fairway Boulevard, Norton Park Drive, and Opportunity Way as public roads in the city of Whitehall, accepting title to public parkland, authorizing the execution and delivery of a plat, vacating an easement, and declaring an emergency.
Just to be sure, this is read amended, correctly? Correct, Mr. President?
Yes.
Okay. So I would like to introduce ordinance 26, 2019, and move for the suspension of rules as amended.
Are we?
I believe first you have to amend.
But I just asked if it was amended.
No, we have to amend it tonight.
Okay. Mr. President, I'd like to introduce ordinance 26, 2019, and amend as read.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Rodriguez and a second by Mr. Cantor to amend as read ordinance 26, 2019. Questions or comments?
Catch all that?
Ms. Aug, please call the
Gets me
roll.
every time.
Elmore,
Yes.
Coniston,
Yes.
Cantor,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ordinance 26, 2019 has been amended as read.
Thank you, Mr. President. Now, at this time, I'd like to introduce ordinance 26, 2019, and move for the suspension of all rules.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Rodriguez, second by Mr. Cantor for introduction and suspension of all rules on ordinance 26, 2019. Ms. Aug, please call the roll.
Elmore,
Yes.
Coniston,
Yes.
Cantor,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
The rules have been suspended on ordinance 26, 2019.
Mr. President, thank you. I would like to move for its adoption.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Rodriguez, second by Mr. Cantor for adoption of ordinance 26, 2019. Ms. Aug, please call the roll.
Elmore,
Yes.
Coniston,
Yes.
Cantor,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ordinance 26, 2019 has been adopted. Next up, we have ordinance 27, 2019, authorizing the transfer of certain property located on Hamilton Road south of Broad Street to the Whitehall Community Improvements Corporation. That ordinance is being read by title only. Our next item is a resolution. It is Resolution 9, 2019, authorizing the mayor to accept title to parcel number 090-000-467 from the Whitehall Community Improvement Corporation located within the city of Whitehall and pay all fees associated with the transfer of property and declaring an emergency. That resolution is being read by title only. Our next resolution, and is also the last item we have under second readings, is Resolution 10, 2019. It's authorizing the mayor to accept title to parcel number 090-000-468 from the Central Ohio Community Improvement Corporation located within the city of Whitehall and pay all fees associated with the transfer of property and declaring an emergency. And as I said, that is being read by title only. It's also the last item we have under second readings. Under first readings, we start with Ordinance 28, 2019, approving and making an appropriation of $9,015 from unappropriated monies in the Bulletproof Vest Grant Fund to the 2017 Bulletproof Vest Expense Account and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce ordinance 28, 2019, move for the suspension of all rules.
Second?
I have a motion by Mr. Rodriguez and a second by Ms. Coniston for introduction and suspension of all rules on Ordinance 28, 2019. Questions or comments? Ms. Aug, please call the roll.
Elmore,
Yes.
Coniston.
Yes.
Cantor,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
The rules have been suspended on Ordinance 28, 2019.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to adopt.
Second?
Motion by Mr. Rodriguez, second by Ms. Coniston for adoption of Ordinance 28, 2019. Ms. Aug, please call the roll.
Elmore,
Yes.
Coniston.
Yes.
Cantor,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ordinance 28, 2019 has been adopted. Next up, we have Ordinance 29, 2019, authorizing the creation of the Etna Road Municipal Public Improvement Incentive Expense Account and appropriating $41,950.26 from unappropriated monies in the WIMPITI Fund and declaring an emergency. That's being read by title only. Next we have Ordinance 30, 2019. It's amending 161.12 overtime and holiday pay eligibility and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce ordinance 30, 2019, move for the suspension of all rules.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Rodriguez and a second by Ms. Heck for introduction and suspension of all rules on Ordinance 30, 2019. Questions or comments? Ms. Aug, please call the roll.
Elmore,
Yes.
Coniston.
Yes.
Cantor,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
The rules have been suspended on Ordinance 30, 2019.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to adopt.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Rodriguez and a second by Ms. Heck for adoption of Ordinance 30, 2019. Ms. Aug, please call the roll.
Elmore,
Yes.
Coniston.
Yes.
Cantor,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ordinance 30, 2019 has been adopted. Next, we have Ordinance 31, 2019. It's authorizing and approving a fund transfer in the amount of $57,000 from unappropriated monies in the General Fund 101 to the Community Development Trust Fund 550, authorizing and approving a supplemental appropriation from the Community Development Trust Fund 550 in the amount of $25,000 to the Home Reinvestment Expense Account and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce ordinance 31, 2019, move for the suspension of all rules.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Rodriguez and a second by Ms. Heck for introduction and suspension of all rules on Ordinance 31, 2019. Questions or comments? Ms. Aug, please call the roll.
Elmore,
Yes.
Coniston.
Yes.
Cantor,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
The rules have been suspended on Ordinance 31, 2019.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to adopt.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Rodriguez, a second by Ms. Heck for adoption of ordinance 31, 2019. Ms. Aug, please call the roll.
Elmore,
Yes.
Coniston,
Yes.
Cantor,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ordinance 31, 2019 has been adopted. Next, we have ordinance 32, 2019. It's amending the zoning map attached to chapter 1122 of the 1970 codified ordinances of the city of Whitehall, Ohio, and as subsequently amended, allowing a special permit under 1123.10C21 to allow Two Tones Brewing Company to operate a wholesale business on the property located at 4359 East Broad Street, property owned by Jacob and Faye Gelman. That's being read by title only. It's been referred to the Planning Commission for their March 7th meeting, and we will also have a public hearing on this ordinance on April 2nd, 2019. Next, we have ordinance 33, 2019. It's amending the zoning map attached to chapter 1122 of the 1970 codified ordinances of the city of Whitehall, Ohio, and is subsequently amended, allowing a special permit under 1123.03C1 to allow Whitehall City Schools to operate school facilities on the property located at 4040 Lambie Lane, property owned by Board of Education and of the city school district, of the Whitehall City School District. It's being read by title only. It's been referred to the Planning Commission also for their March 7th meeting, and we will also have a public hearing regarding this ordinance on April 2nd, 2019. We'll move on. Next, we have our resolution 13, 2019. It's resolving to approve then and now certificates and declaring it an emergency.
Mr. President, if it's the second to last thing I do tonight, I'd like to introduce resolution 13, 2019, and move for the suspension of all rules.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Rodriguez and a second by Ms. Elmore for introduction and suspension of all rules on resolution 13, 2019. Questions or comments? Ms. Aug, please call the roll.
Elmore,
Yes.
Coniston,
Yes.
Cantor,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
The rules have been suspended on resolution 13, 2019.
I indubitably thank you.
Thank you.
Move for its adoption.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Rodriguez, second by Ms. Elmore for adoption of resolution 13, 2019. Ms. Aug, please call the roll.
Elmore,
Yes.
Coniston,
Yes.
Cantor,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Resolution 13, 2019 has been adopted. Next, and actually last, we have Resolution 14, 2019. It's authorizing the mayor to apply for and accept assistance from the Clean Ohio Conservation Program Fund administered through the Ohio Public Works Commission and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce Resolution 14, 2019, and move for the suspension of the rules.
Second?
I have a motion by Mr. Cantor and a second by Ms. Coniston for introduction and suspension of all rules on Resolution 14, 2019. Questions or comments? Ms. Aug, please call the roll.
Elmore,
Yes.
Coniston,
Yes.
Cantor,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
The rules have been suspended on Resolution 14, 2019.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move for adoption.
Second?
Motion by Mr. Cantor, second by Ms. Coniston for adoption of Resolution 14, 2019. Ms. Aug, please call the roll, please.
Elmore,
Yes.
Coniston,
Yes.
Cantor,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Resolution 14, 2019 has been adopted. It's the last item of legislation we have before us this evening. That brings us to our second opportunity for poll public. Please, if anyone would like to come forward, you will have, I'll give you 4 minutes this evening. No? All right. We'll move on to Community Date Board. If anyone has anything for Community Date Board?
This Friday, the community fair, the career fair for students in the public. Friday is going to be at the Whitehall Yearling High School in the Ox Gym. Students 2 to 3:30, and students in the public 3:30 to 6.
All right, thank you. Who else has something?
April- Oh, that's right. That's, do you have the date on that
That
one?
is the 13th, Wednesday the 13th at
13th.
6:30.
State of the city, right here.
Wasser-
No,
Wasser- Wasserstrom.
See, I would've come here. I would've come here, I would've been right. All by myself.
We also don't want to forget the stuffing of the eggs.
Yes.
That's
April
in
11th.
April
17th,
17th.
April 11th.
11th? Oh, you'll be here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm gonna change
But
it.
that will be over at the high
I'm glad.
school cafeteria,
Because the next.
Yeah, I got it.
3:30.
I got it there for the 11th.
Jim will be able to be there.
Great.
They were worried. He wants some grape lassie taffy.
All right, who else has
Kelly,
something for
thinking Barbara
Community
Blake
Day
is
Board?
watching.
I have new eggs this year.
You do?
Yes, I'm tired of using those old eggs.
TMI, so.
I bought a bunch of them last Easter, after
It's
Easter.
gonna be a good Easter egg.
Yes, it will be. Who else has something for Community Day Board? No one? All right, we'll move on to poll council, and we'll begin with Miss Elmore.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank everybody that is listening on Facebook. Also want to thank the city attorney for, again, wonderful stats and the things that you guys are doing in the office. Hopefully, the rest of our administration will stay healthy and everybody here will not get sick. And that's pretty much all I have for you.
All right, Ms. Coniston.
I would just like to thank everybody for watching, and thank you, Caitlin, for sitting there and being our audience, and I'm very appreciative that our two administrative that are down in the basement are well. Everybody else, please get better.
Mr. Cantor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Bivens, thank you for the statistics. That's pretty good, only 7%
That's wonderful.
of the prosecuted rates. That's really good. Caitlin, thanks for coming in tonight. And thank you, everybody, for watching. Hi, girls. Daddy loves you. Congratulations to my daughter carrying a 3.865 GPA. I'm very proud of you,
That's
Elizabeth.
awesome.
It's great.
Ms. Heck.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for everybody that tuned in at home. Thank you, Mr. Bivens, for the stats. I look forward to the new algorithm and getting those stats and seeing how they compare. And I hope everybody stays warm. That's it.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. Last night, all the council members present this evening were at the State of the Schools event, and it was quite enlightening. It's nice to see, first of all, the continued collaboration between the schools and the city, and I think the schools are really doing a wonderful job for our students and for the community. That's all I have. Thank you.
Very well said.
All right, thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. Well, I also want to thank everyone for coming out this evening, especially all those that are not feeling poorly. I hope everyone who couldn't make it is feeling better for our next meeting, where I hope to see all of you present and all of you. We have no other official business before us, so I would therefore entertain a motion of adjournment.
I make a motion that we adjourn, Mr. President.
Second?
Have a motion by Ms. Elmore and a motion by Ms. Elmore and a second by Ms. Coniston for adjournment. Ms. Aug, please call the roll.
Elmore,
Yes?
Coniston,
Yes.
Cantor,
Yes.
Heck,
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
All right, we are adjourned, and again, I hope to see all of you here next week, at our next council meeting in 2 weeks. Or you can come to the committee meeting next week. Thank you.